Our main character, Akira Tendou, who is mentally and physically exhausted from extreme hours of work, sees the world in black and white. He forgot to pay his parking pass and he heads to the building manager's room, but he finds the manager devouring someone's guts. The first color he's seeing in a while because he lives a monotonous, soul-crushing life dominated by his exploitative job. Panicked, Akira tries to escape but finds more zombies outside. He runs upstairs, worrying about being late for work. As a plane crashes overhead, he realizes his oppressive bosses are likely dead, freeing him from work. This makes him happy for the first time in the last 3 years. Feeling alive again despite the chaos, he plans to confess to Sayori, a female colleague whom he has a crush on, but she turns out to be doing the unholy act with the CEO. He bikes to her place, only to find his zombified boss, whom he body slams out a window. Sayori also is turned into a zombie and receives his tearful confession before he runs off. That night, Akira decides to create a bucket list, determined to live fully before the end of his life. The next day, Akira has a nightmare about his hellish working conditions and wakes up screaming. Relief washes over him as he realizes that his world is now a lot better. It's a zombie apocalypse and he's all for it. With new zeal for life, he cleans his entire room for the first time in years, feeling great. He grabs a beer from the fridge, savoring his first beer of freedom. Akira knows the world has gone to hell, but he's focused on enjoying his beer and lazing around to make up for years of torture. However, when he goes to grab another beer, he realizes he's out. This is the worst thing that could happen to him today. Despite wanting to stay put, he has to venture out for more beer, knowing it won't be an easy trip. But what's a lazy day without beer? So, reluctantly, he goes out. A couple in another room freaks out over the apocalypse. The guy tells his partner they just need to hold out for one more day, hoping for a rescue that won't come. He goes to the balcony, praying for help, and spots Akira shimmying down a pipe. Freaked out, the guy invites Akira in, but Akira declines, saying he's just grabbing a few things. Akira introduces himself as their next-door neighbor. The guy is taken aback by Akira's nonchalance. Akira offers to pick up supplies like noodles and toilet paper since he's heading to the convenience store anyway. As Akira races his bike down the street, zombies begin to chase him. Realizing the danger, he remains determined to get his beer. Hey guys, we've all been there on a Friday night. At the convenience store, he pries open the doors and starts singing his beer song. He notices a girl by the fridge. Her name is Shizuka Mikazuki. Trying to play it cool, he introduces himself, but she remains silent. When he offers to get her contact info, she finally speaks, criticizing him for risking his life for beer and not getting any water for a hangover. She points out that he left the door open, allowing zombies to enter. As Akira tries to protect her, a truck crashes through the wall, killing the zombies by coincidence. From this, Akira learns to analyze risks and always close doors. Though he hopes to meet the girl again, now isn't the time. His bike is destroyed, so he finds a scooter and escapes. Realizing there might be better vehicles available, he spots a hot rod and upgrades his ride. Oh yeah. Returning to his apartment building, he stops by Kosaka's place and finds a bloody mess, realizing they won't be joining him. That night, Akira is reminded of his mortality, but resolves to live life to the fullest. He makes a bucket list of things he wants to do. The next day, the girl from the store is in a penthouse, starting her morning with a 10-kilometer treadmill run. She's taking a serious approach to surviving the apocalypse, analyzing zombie movement patterns. She needs supplies and data, explaining her presence at the store. Reviewing footage of Akira, she starts to think his way of doing things might not be so bad after all. In another group of survivors, a little girl mourns her father's death while the club manager consoles her. He praises her strength but has to leave to deal with returning zombies. Promising to come back, he and his men head out to fight and protect the club's remaining people. Meanwhile, Akira is enjoying his new motorcycle in Shinjuku, searching for his best friend, Kencho. Earlier that day, Akira had tried and failed to grow a cool beard, eventually shaving it off. He then noticed his phone receiving messages again, signaling the internet's return. Excited, he sent messages to his old friends, hoping to catch up. However, he soon realized that the internet was only back because most people were likely dead, making him regret all the time he wasted working instead of hanging out. Scrolling through his contacts, Akira found Kencho and remembered him as a fighter. Determined to find him, Akira set off to Shinjuku, convinced that Kencho wouldn't just give up and die. Kencho has been trapped in a room for 3 days with only water, unable to escape due to the zombies crowding the hallway. He's stuck with a zombie woman, and his love for bondage is the only thing that saved him. As he sits there, thinking this is the end, his life flashes before his eyes, and he recalls memories of Akira from their college days. At that moment, Akira calls him, shocking Kencho. Akira asks for his location, and Kencho tells him he's in Shinjuku, doubting that Akira could make it there without being eaten by zombies. But Akira is determined. Do it for the bros, bro. On his way to Shinjuku, Akira remembers their meetups for drinks. Kencho was a successful real estate contractor with good pay, high praise from his bosses, and a love life. Kencho once told Akira to quit his job, but Akira, too deep in his work, got angry and cut their hangout short. Akira never had the chance to apologize, so he's determined to do it now. Bromance. Meanwhile, the manager from before is about to face his final moments as zombies approach him. However, a car horn in the distance distracts the zombies, causing them to leave him alone. The noise also draws the zombies away from Kencho's room, allowing him to escape. Just then, Akira shows up, yelling apologies for not taking Kencho's advice and getting jealous. Unfortunately, the shouting attracts more zombies, forcing them to retreat to the rooftop. Oh, guys, rookie mistake. With the zombies right behind them, Kencho thinks it's the end, but Akira insists they jump across the rooftops. Akira makes the jump, but Kencho hesitates. He apologizes for making Akira feel jealous, admitting he hated his job and bragged about it to cope. Kencho always wanted to be a stand-up comic. Akira tells him it's not too late. Okay, I mean, it might be a little too late. Maybe his comedy will knock him dead? Okay, enough. I'll move on. Kencho, inspired, starts running and jumps, inexplicably stripping off his clothes midway. He doesn't make the full jump and ends up hanging from a ledge, but Akira pulls him up in time, though Kencho scrapes himself in the process. Afterward, the two spend the night drinking naked, enjoying their reunion and newfound freedom. I mean, what else would you do? Akira is playing a zombie video game on the roof, but he dies in the game and rolls back in the hammock he's laying in. Kencho has been cooking for him, and the food is the best thing Akira has ever tasted. Amazed by the food, Akira comments on how Kencho is probably great at everything, which explains his popularity with the ladies. Kencho humbly says his cooking skills are normal and jokes that Akira's lack of skill might be why he's unlucky in love. Determined, Akira vows to get a date today, but his options are less than ideal. Yeah, you're telling me. Later, Kencho looks at Akira's bucket list and finds it unrealistic. He questions the chances of meeting and dating a flight attendant during the apocalypse. Despite the improbability, Akira is determined to achieve his goals, no matter how unrealistic. Kencho decides to add his own dream of becoming a stand-up comic to the list, making Akira promise to support him. Grateful for Akira saving his life, Kencho agrees to join him in any wild endeavor. Akira suggests they head to the mall to pick up a mega flat-screen TV. I'm surprised they didn't do that on the first day. Come on, guys, that's looting 101. They set out in their hot rod, of course, but they soon encounter a flaming dead end with a firefighter zombie blocking the way. Oh, now that's irony. To make matters worse, a runaway truck barrels towards them. Kencho freaks out, but Akira has a flashback to his beer run and gets a crazy idea to jump the tanker. Despite the insanity, it's the best plan they've got. They manage to jump the tanker, which explodes in a fiery inferno, forcing them to head into an underground mall to continue their quest. Tendou and Kencho desperately escape the fire, but the mall is overrun with zombies. they abandon their motorcycle and run towards a nearby store with its door slightly open. The zombies chase them, but they manage to reach the store and slam the door down on the zombies' fingers. A flashlight turns on, revealing 3 women and 1 man cowering in the back. They're initially defensive, unsure if Tendou and Kencho are infected. After confirming they aren't, Kencho expresses gratitude for finding other survivors. One girl questions his thankfulness given their situation trapped in a store surrounded by zombies. Fair play, girl. However, they realize they won't starve as they are in a convenience store. How convenient. Okay, last one, I promise. They start searching the store for food and liquor. Once they've gathered their supplies, they sit down to share it. One girl suggests they introduce themselves. Kencho introduces himself and Tendou, while the man in the corner remains distressed. Kencho asks the girls if they know each other. They introduce themselves as Reika Maki and Yukari and explain that they are co-workers whose flight had just landed in Japan. Akira sees this as his chance to impress one of them. However, his lack of charm is obvious, and he struggles to make conversation. Meanwhile, Kencho effortlessly flirts with the other flight attendant, making Akira feel even more inadequate. Desperate to lighten the mood, Akira snorts a whole bottle of alcohol, which surprisingly gets everyone in a partying spirit. Later, while Akira is puking, I'm not surprised, the flight attendant Yukari checks on him, giving him hope for a connection. Meanwhile, Reika, the other flight attendant, vents her frustrations to a cowering man who turns out to have been bitten and zombified, attacking her. Her screams wake up Kencho and Maki, but Maki is too exhausted to react immediately. Reika, now a zombie, attacks Maki and rips her face off before lunging at Kencho, who defends himself with a suitcase. Akira and Yukari bond over their jobs and dreams, but their conversation is cut short when the old man bites Yukari. Akira knocks the old man down the stairs, but realizes he can't save Yukari, who will soon turn into a zombie. Heartbroken, he leaves her and meets up with Kencho, who surprises him with a flat-screen TV. They escape on their motorcycle, and Akira reflects on the tragic events, vowing to remember his dreams and adding them to his list. When Tendou was younger, he took on rich people every morning to protect a dog. He was a superhero. It turns out, obviously, that this was just a dream, and he has just woken up. Kencho informed Akira that the Self-Defense Force has isolated certain areas in Hokkaido, and that some villages had sealed off access tunnels. Akira found some comfort in the thought that his family might be safe since they were in Gunma. Later, Tendou helps Kencho dye his hair and declares he wants to save people from zombies. He expressed that it's his childhood dream to become a superhero who fights zombies. He even added this aspiration to his bucket list. To turn this dream into reality, Akira and Kencho set out on a trip to the aquarium. However, Kencho is skeptical, since Tendou lacks a gun. Akira and Kencho explored the aquarium's back rooms where Akira discovered a shark suit in a locker. Using spray paint, he transformed it into his superhero costume. I mean, what would you do with your time in the apocalypse? This seems pretty logical, right? Previously, Akira had expressed to Kencho his desire to use a shark suit as his costume since it was designed to protect against shark bites, similar to zombie bites. Then we see Shizuka rushing into the aquarium with a group of people. Akira saw an opportunity to impress her by fighting the pursuing zombies. However, he underestimated the pain of zombie bites and called on Kencho for help. Unfortunately, Kencho could only watch as there was only one shark suit available. Akira defeated the zombies by tossing them into a nearby lake. However, the girl did not seem impressed by his actions. Akira rejoined Kencho and the other survivors, with Kencho urging him to approach the girl he had been trying to impress. Akira introduced himself, but the girl analyzed his behavior, questioning his motives for helping others. She acknowledged his efforts but raised concerns about the risks he was taking. Suddenly, a loud banging sound grabbed everyone's attention. Akira and Kencho investigated and encountered a shark with 2 humans trapped inside it. As they fled from the pursuing shark and ran into more zombies, the girl pointed out an emergency exit. They all made a dash for it, but the girl pushed aside Akira's crush. Realizing she was missing, Akira decided to go back to save her from the shark. She questioned his determination to follow through on things, leaving Kencho feeling helpless. The girl proposed a plan to defeat the shark, suggesting they split up to execute their respective roles. While the girl handled her part, Akira confronted the shark alone. The shark initially overwhelmed him, but Kencho's clever distraction gave Akira the courage to face the shark head-on. The girl tossed batteries to Akira, enabling him to deliver an electrifying blow to the shark. And after a fierce battle, Akira was able to check off his superhero dream from his bucket list. Kencho asked the girl why she hadn't joined other survivors. She preferred not to be in large groups. She noticed Akira's bucket list and commented on their differing goals. Before leaving, Akira asked about her plans, and she wanted to find a safe and sustainable place. She gave him her contact info. "Oh, you go, Akira," revealing her name as Shizuka Mikazuki. Akira and Kencho decided to go to Gunma to find Akira's family. Akira was looking at a Rolex watch when they went back to their hiding place, but they found out that there was no power or water. Akira looked up at the night sky and thought about his hometown, Gunma. Kencho suggested they go to see if Akira's parents were okay. Kencho and Akira took the idea seriously, packed carefully for their journey, and set off for Gunma. While driving, Akira said he wanted to get an RV to make their trip easier. They arrived at an RV show and unexpectedly ran into Shizuka again. Akira invited her to join their journey, but she said no because she didn't have a driver's license. Akira and Kencho spent some time explaining the potential risks and dangers of driving an RV without any experience or a valid license to Shizuka. They tried their best to convince her to join them on their journey. As they browsed through the vast selection of RVs available, Shizuka carefully considered which one would be the most suitable for their needs. At first, Akira and Kencho suggested a luxurious and expensive RV, but after some thought, Shizuka decided that it wasn't quite what they were looking for. Kencho recommended picking an RV according to their liking, but as they discussed, they inadvertently drew many zombies towards them. To flee, they hurriedly entered a nearby RV. "Pick an RV, guys, just pick any one," and drove off. Shizuka thought a virus caused the zombie outbreak and suggested developing a vaccine as a solution. Suddenly, they faced a spike strip obstacle, causing Kencho to injure himself as he had been riding a motorcycle. Surprisingly, they ran into a rival faction, led by Chief Kosugi, who was Akira's former team leader from his workplace. Kosugi was shocked to see Akira alive and offered them shelter at his truck shop, which had food, spare tires, and other essentials. Akira felt grateful for the offer, but couldn't shake off the strange feeling in his chest after reuniting with the person who had made his life, well, let's just say, a little more difficult at work. However, Kosugi had ulterior motives. He demanded that Akira and his friends work for him for 2 days and used the threat of zombies to force them to comply. Kosugi gave Akira a rundown of his tasks while Shizuka tended to Kencho's wounds. She worried that Kosugi might find a way to extend Akira's duties beyond the agreed 2 days. The next day, Akira worked diligently, noticing the overall sense of misery among the people around him. In a small act of kindness, he secretly stored some beer to share with them later. When Kosugi caught wind of this, he initially questioned the wasteful use of electricity. However, his stance shifted when his colleagues decided to throw a welcoming party for Akira and his friends. They left, and Akira observed how Kosugi was using zombies as if they were mere tools. And we kind of get a little bit of a sense that this is how he used workers in a past life as well. In another scene, Kencho and Shizuka discussed Akira's situation further and wondered why he put up with Kosugi's mistreatment. A brief flashback revealed Shizuka's past and showed how deeply Kosugi's actions had affected Akira. The episode ended with Akira working alongside the zombies, and oh man, haven't we all felt like those zombies at some point in our lives? Young Shizuka finds a stray puppy and takes it in, but her father objects, believing it's not a wise decision. In the present, Kosugi hosts a party and Shizuka watches from afar. Akira serves drinks. Kosugi asks Akira for another beer, but Akira gives him an empty bottle by mistake. This makes Kosugi very angry. Meanwhile, Shizuka is thinking about her past. She remembers her father, who was a mean businessman, and how she tried to make him proud. Shizuka once hid a dog named Rue in her room and took care of it until it was healthy again. She told her father she wanted to be a doctor, but he said no because of money problems. He had Rue put to sleep. The scene presents moments from Shizuka's past, highlighting her obedience to her father's commands despite her personal feelings. She believes that following his orders is essential for her survival in the long run. As the tension between Akira and Kosugi continues to escalate, Kosugi implies that Akira would have a better chance of surviving in the apocalypse by working for him rather than relying on his friends. Shizuka recalls a time from her past when her father pointed out people who were less fortunate and encouraged her to keep following his instructions. She understood that obeying her father's orders only benefited him. Back in the RV, Shizuka finds Akira's bucket list, adds something to it, and tells Kosugi that she, Kensho, and Akira will be leaving after the agreed-upon 2 days. However, Akira surprises them by choosing to stay with Kosugi, feeling indebted to him for his assistance. Before leaving, Shizuka reveals the truth about Kosugi's ulterior motives to Akira, explaining that he had opened her eyes to the situation. She hands Akira his bucket list and asks him what he truly wants. We see what Shizuka added to the list the previous night. She wants Akira to confront Kosugi. Kosugi tries to sabotage Akira's bucket list, but Akira stops him. Akira thanks Kosugi for his help, but tells him he's leaving. Kosugi insists that Akira won't survive outside, but Akira chooses to take his chances with his friends instead of working for Kosugi's benefit. One of Kosugi's men returns with a truck full of supplies, but a zombie inside bites him, causing chaos. Akira quickly creates a plan and enlists the delivery team's help. He saves Kosugi from becoming zombie food, and the delivery team forms a barrier around them. After a dramatic escape, Kosugi's workers decide to quit, leaving him behind. The episode ends with Akira, Kensho, and Shizuka heading to Gunma to find Akira's family. While traveling to Gunma, Akira, Shizuka, and Kensho fulfill item number 27 on the bucket list, practicing paddleboard yoga on a river. They continue their journey and find a truck surrounded by zombies due to a flat tire. Akira changes into his shark suit to fight off the zombies and save the driver. However, a red samurai jumps out and slays all the zombies using a spear, katanas, and a bow and arrow. The samurai unmasks, revealing herself to be an ordinary German woman named Beatrix Amahauser. She thanks the trio for the distraction, while they are too shocked to speak. Beatrix introduces herself as a German woman who loves Japanese culture. She planned to travel through Japan after college, but the outbreak happened as soon as she arrived. Despite this, she decided to stay and learn samurai skills to protect herself. Akira finds coolers of fish in her truck, and Beatrix explains that she wants to deliver it to Takasaki for the last surviving sushi chef to make authentic sushi for her. Kensho and Shizuka are put off by this, but Akira agrees to help her, since eating sushi is number 7 on his bucket list. Kensho and Shizuka reluctantly agree to save the sushi chef, whom Beatrix hasn't heard from in 3 days. When they arrive in Takasaki, they find zombies all through the numerous alleys. Shizuka comes up with a plan to dispatch them all at once. Kensho lures the zombies into a specific alleyway and blocks the path with a truck to barricade them. The 4 drop bottles of alcohol on them, intending to set the zombies on fire. However, the matches don't light, and the zombies soon overcome the barrier. After a brief moment of despair, Akira and Beatrix dispatch the zombies by the RV, while Kensho and Shizuka lure the zombies away with music, then throw Molotov cocktails onto them to set the fire and incinerate them. The group eventually finds the sushi chef, who is alive and well. He happily makes them a lot of sushi, which they all find delicious, causing Beatrix to break down into tears after achieving her dream. As likely the last customers, the chef lets them eat the last of the stock and helps them escape, while Beatrix joins the group, permanently. The group continues their journey and finds a hot spring resort town. They all want to bathe, since they haven't in days, and relaxing in a hot spring is number 16 on the bucket list. I feel like the guy from Watch Mojo. Number 16. Number 16. Okay, I'm gonna keep going now. The group admires the town, and Beatrix talks about hot spring history. When she mentions that lovesickness is the only thing hot springs can't cure, Akira looks at Shizuka and mentions it'd be nice for couples. He also talks about how having a girlfriend would be nice to share experiences and motivate him. However, Shizuka coldly states that dating is a waste of time, leaving Akira disappointed. The group eagerly finds the men's open-air hot spring, and the boys excitedly jump in to relax. However, Beatrix discovers that the women's hot spring has lost all of its hot water, leaving them with no option but to bathe in the men's bath, much to Akira and Kencho's delight. Shizuka hesitates and refuses to join, but Beatrix agrees, reasoning that men and women used to bathe together all the time. Unfortunately, before they can enter, zombies suddenly emerge from the bath and chase the group away from the resort and up a mountain, trapping them in a dangerous situation. At night, Akira wakes up and finds a natural hot spring in the mountains. He jumps in but finds Shizuka already there. She demands he leave, but relents when she realizes he's only interested in the hot spring. Shizuka apologizes for her earlier comments about love, explaining that her father's rigidity affected her ability to hear other opinions. Akira responds by saying she's being open, and Shizuka muses that if she falls in love, it would be with someone she can be open with. However, Kencho and Beatrix arrive and assume they went to the hot spring to hook up. They jump in too, to experience it. The hot spring, that is. The quartet arrives outside Gunma. Akira is worried about seeing his parents, as he hasn't seen them since he began working, and his dad always seemed distant. They find a blocked-off tunnel filled with thousands of zombies. Shizuka deduces that the villagers trapped the zombies from neighboring cities inside. With no other way to go, she suggests traveling on foot over the tunnel. While walking, they encounter an old carpenter named Masaru Kumano, being chased by a zombified boar. Beatrix saves him and he joins the group. Kumano reveals he fled the city to live in the woods and build a treehouse. Akira stops their plans to help Kumano finish his treehouse, with Kencho joining in. Kumano teaches them how to use wood to their advantage. Akira wonders what would happen if that ability became limitless. Kumano reveals he wanted to build a treehouse for his son, but kept putting it off, and eventually had to kill his zombified son and wife. Akira consoles him, and Shizuka and Beatrix help finish the treehouse. Akira chooses to continue to the village to see his parents. After saying goodbye to Kumano, the quartet continues to the village but find no one around. Akira runs to the main hall and finds everyone alive and partying in their underwear. He finds his parents, Teruo and Akiko, and breaks down in tears, thanking them for raising him. Teruo tells him not to dwell on personal problems during the pandemic and leaves to work in the fields. Akiko prepares a meal for the group and explains that the village's isolation prevented the virus from spreading. Many city folk tried to flee into the village, but some were infected, resulting in the horde in the tunnel. Some city people escaped, while the villagers barricaded the tunnel. Akira wants to spend time with his parents and help them, per number 31 on the bucket list. While the others enjoy the town, Akira tries to help his mother, but she declines. He helps his father with farm work, but his attempts at small talk are rebuffed. Teruo has a cut on his hand, but he hides it from Akira. They take vegetables to the main area and pass by 4 young people from the city, one of whom Akira recognizes. A flashback reveals that the man Akira recognized was a NEET, who, after graduating from college, couldn't find stable employment and became increasingly withdrawn. Instead of looking inward, he blamed society and longed for a time when he had no worries. When the outbreak occurred, he felt free and saw its collapse as an opportunity. The NEET stockpiled supplies, mainly cigarettes, and found 3 others who felt similarly disenfranchised. They created a bucket list, but every item was a criminal action, such as doing drugs, causing violence, and raping people. Their reasoning was that they could live out a summer break with no work or restrictions, and with society gone, they could beat up its corpse. Later that evening, the NEET and his group approached the zombies in the tunnel. To check off number 5 on his bucket list, Akira asks hairstylist Sakura to give him dreadlocks, while makeup artist Nagisa Kaneshiro and college professor Ayumi watch. He likes the look and decides to keep it. They share their stories with him and his mother. Nagisa mentions she was ironically doing makeup on a zombie film set when the outbreak happened, which makes her cry. Ayumi comforts her, expressing her intention to stay in the village. She highlights how the villagers need to work together to meet their needs, which brings them closer, unlike the isolating convenience of city life. Shizuka spends some time helping an elderly woman named Tome cook some rice in the village kitchen. As they work together, they bond over the differences in their cooking methods and share some laughs. Suddenly, the village elder, Old Man Hikoe, bursts into the kitchen, causing a bit of a commotion. In his old age, he mistakes Shizuka for his granddaughter and gives her a tight hug. Tome quickly shoos him away, apologizing for his confusion. Just as they're getting back into cooking, a man enters the kitchen looking for help. He has a cut on his hand and is seeking treatment. Shizuka takes a look at the injury and gives him some instructions on how to clean and bandage it. However, her helpfulness inadvertently causes everyone in the village to assume she is a doctor. Soon, all of the elderly villages, including Hikoe, come by to see Shizuka for various ailments and injuries. Despite not being a real doctor, Shizuka does her best to help them with what she knows. Kensho notices a little girl, Anju, sitting alone. A villager tells him that Anju lost both her parents in the outbreak and hasn't smiled since. Kensho tries to cheer her up by telling jokes and juggling Daruma dolls. He succeeds in making her chuckle, and they become friends. An elderly woman shows Beatrix a watermill that provides small but necessary amounts of electricity to the village. The villagers have increased the electricity supply by installing an electrical fence to keep out zombified animals. The woman also shows Beatrix a circuit breaker and warns her never to touch it. Akira and Kensho work in the field when they see Kanta Higurashi, their college acquaintance. Kensho tries saying hello, but Higurashi walks away. Kensho explains that Higurashi dropped out of college and became a NEET. Higurashi is enraged to see Akira and Kensho, but becomes excited. At night, Akira finds his father, Teruo, sitting on a balcony and offers to have a drink with him, which Teruo accepts. While they are together, Akira notices that his father is showing noticeable signs of aging. Akira begins apologizing to his father, saying that he was wrong about the city and that he wants to live in the village to help his parents. However, Teruo rebuffs him again. Akira nearly lashes out at Teruo but stops himself and instead asks about his father's dream. To Akira's shock, Teruo declares that his dream was to be an astronaut and to experience the overview effect. But he couldn't because of his lack of intelligence. They end up having a good laugh for the first time, with Teruo encouraging Akira to find his own dream. Akira decides it's time to check spending time with his parents off the bucket list. Higurashi and his followers, Atenbo and Kurasugi, remove the barricade trapping zombies in the tunnel. Kanbayashi maximizes the fence's power and cuts the circuit breaker. Zombies invade the town, with Higurashi using dynamite and Atenbo driving a digger and shooting to cause destruction. Akira and Teruo witness the chaos, with Teruo deciding to help Akiko and the Tokyo women, while Akira regroups with his team. Shizuka evacuates civilians, and Beatrix saves Kensho and Anju with a horse. They all reunite with Akira at the fence. Higurashi's group confronts Akira's group, revealing Higurashi's responsibility for the attack. Higurashi shows them his bucket list and plans to turn Akira into a zombie. Akira disagrees with Higurashi's method and writes down his 38th bucket list item, paying back his parents. The group makes plans. Beatrix and Kanbayashi head to the mill to shut off the power. Shizuka goes to the suspension bridge to guide people away from the zombies, and Akira and Kencho prepare to evacuate the village, but split up when Anju disappears. Higurashi plans to drag everyone out of their homes and turn them into zombies, calling it a game of hide and seek. The zombies continue to attack the village as Higurashi looks on in delight. Anju finds her dog in an animal shed, and Kencho recovers her. They head to the roof to avoid the zombies, but Kurosaki climbs up a ladder and attempts to push Kencho off the roof using a herd driver. Beatrix finds the watermill, but Kanbayashi cuts her head off and slices one of her swords in half with a chainsaw. Shizuka finds Tome and some other elders in a shed, but they refuse to leave, believing their old age will handicap them. Shizuka lures some zombies away without analyzing the risks for the first time and runs away. She manages to escape, but runs into Atenbo, who declares his intention to forcibly kiss her, and she runs away again. Akira fights the zombies using a plow and finds the shed where his parents, Nagisa, Ayumi, and Sakura are hiding. As he fights the zombies outside, Akira apologizes to his parents for not paying them back for raising him. However, Teruo, who earlier showed further signs of weakness, opens the door and pulls Akira inside, saying the only way he can repay them is to outlive them. Teruo then goes to fight the zombies. That is so tragic. Higurashi's minions, Kurosaki, Atenbo, and Kanbayashi, start recalling their pasts and feeling disillusioned by society. Kurosaki had been in a loveless marriage where he became disenchanted with providing for his wife, leading to hedonistic behavior and divorce. Atenbo worked as a waiter at an Italian restaurant but couldn't speak Italian, causing him to struggle and accidentally burned down the restaurant, which resulted in his termination. I mean, come on, man. Fair enough. He blamed his misfortunes on bad luck. Kanbayashi was an overly strict office supervisor who constantly belittled everyone. Reflecting on their experiences, all three of them suddenly break down, screaming and demanding answers. While Higurashi's minions are freaking out, their opponents gain the upper hand. Kencho tells Kurosaki that his marriage failed because he expected his wife to provide for him, and then throws both of them off the roof. Kencho hides in a cesspit filled with feces to avoid zombies, while Kurosaki runs into the electrified fence and dies. Shizuka confronts Atenbo, explaining that luck occurs when others are included, and that one can increase their luck by wishing it upon others. Atenbo rejects this and tries to rape Shizuka, but the elderly people, led by Old Man Hikoe, arrive and beat him to the ground, though he survives. That's a shame. Beatrix describes the nonchalant culture of Germany and criticizes those who force their ways onto others. She jumps onto the water wheel, which breaks under the weight of zombies, and rolls away as the zombies devour Kanbayashi. Teruo fights off most of the zombies, but refuses Akira's help to avoid endangering the women and Akiko. However, when only 3 zombies remain, Teruo experiences a sharp chest pain and collapses. Before the zombies can eat him, Higurashi appears and lifts Teruo onto the digger. Higurashi pins Teruo down and presents a ransom. Either Akira comes out and lets the zombies eat him, or Higurashi feeds Teruo to the zombies. This guy is just a piece of work. Higurashi's past is revealed. He had many friends in elementary school and enjoyed spending time at the pool. But as he grew older, he drifted apart from them due to his introverted nature. In college, he tried participating in extracurricular activities but saw little success. He then noticed Akira, who remained popular on his rugby team despite being in a new environment. Higurashi became envious and hated Akira more than anyone else. In the present, Teruo insists that Akira not open the door. Akira begs his father, revealing his various illnesses, which Akiko confirms and expresses his desire to repay him. Despite Akira's distress, Teruo encourages him to fulfill his bucket list and live a full life as a way to repay him and help humanity. After some time, Akira opens the door, and the zombies enter, seemingly killing everyone. Akira then emerges, appearing to be a zombie. Higurashi gloats, but Akira suddenly regains his composure and drags Higurashi off the digger. It's revealed that Akira had Nagisa use the makeup to make him look like a zombie, fulfilling bucket list item number 22. They used Akira as bait to lure the zombies in, allowing the 3 women to kill them, and then tricked Higurashi into thinking Akira was a zombie to trap him. Akira confronts the defeated Higurashi, asking why he didn't seem to be having fun despite his claims. Higurashi tries to deflect, but a zombie bites him on the ankle, infecting him. As zombies approach, Akira asks Higurashi what he truly wanted, and Higurashi admits that he only wanted to be friends. Akira chastises Higurashi for not realizing that he had tried to befriend him, but Higurashi's own social anxieties caused him to push Akira away. Showing the empathy Teruo wanted him to have, and fulfilling item number 25, which is to give free hugs, Akira embraces Higurashi and offers to go with him to the pool one day. Higurashi breaks down in tears, then runs away, but this time goes straight through the zombie horde in order to lure them away from the village. As Akira and the others take their cue and flee, Higurashi runs to a river where he imagines himself alone at the pool. Seeing, quote-unquote, Akira in the water, he makes peace with himself, jumps into the river, and drowns. Akira, Shizuka, Kencho, and the remaining villagers regroup at the fence, but the zombies follow them. Beatrix arrives on the water wheel, crashing it into the fence and allowing everyone to escape into the forest. However, the suspension bridge has collapsed. Kumano appears with a new bridge and throws one end to the other side. Akira and Kencho hold it up as everyone crosses, then jump off, surviving as Kumano's side holds. As Akira and Kencho climb to safety, Kencho calls Higurashi a fool for wanting friends. Akira disagrees, admitting that he lost sight of himself while working for an exploitative company, and could have made a similar list at some point. There but for the grace of God, am I right? Upon reaching the top, Akira's father tells him he's proud of him, allowing Akira to check off repaying his parents on his bucket list. The villagers lure the remaining zombies into the tunnel and seal it off. Kumano decides to stay and help rebuild the village. Shizuka expresses surprise, but Tomei explains that their resolve to save the villagers has given them a new purpose. Anju thanks Kencho for giving her the courage to smile through his comedy, prompting him to check becoming a stand-up comic off his bucket list. Akira stays by Teruo's bedside as he sleeps from exhaustion. Akiko tells Akira that Teruo was constantly worrying about him while he was in Tokyo. Overwhelmed, Akira breaks down and asks Akiko about Teruo's sickness. Akiko reveals it's just hemorrhoids, but Teruo is not in any real danger, aside from refusing surgery. Rejuvenated, Akira decides to leave the village to pursue Teruo's dream of changing the world and finding a cure for the zombie virus, to convince Teruo that doctors aren't bad. The group hesitates to leave since they need to rebuild, but Teruo gives Akira his blessing. Akira writes about getting his father's surgery on his bucket list and encourages the others to write their own goals. Kencho wants to bring laughter to Japan. Shizuka wants to become a doctor again. And Beatrix wants to restore Japan's natural beauty. They end up writing 86 items in total. The next day, the group prepares to leave, and the villagers see them off. Shizuka tells Hikoe she is not Akemi, and Kencho promises Anju he will return to make her laugh. Akira says goodbye to his parents and vows to find a cure and return. As they travel, the group realizes Akira has no plan to find a cure, so they head north. Other survivors travel around Japan in a montage, and Akira's group eventually reaches Hokkaido, enjoying their journey along the way. And that's the end of a recap for the first season of what I hope to be many recaps in the future. If you want to be part of those recaps, remember to like, subscribe, and press that bell notification button so you know when the next video comes out. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time. Bye!